This episode of Shootin The Shiznit is brought to you by 80stees.com, the leading online retailer of licensed t-shirts. They specialize in retro movie, music, TV shows, video games, comic books, wrestling, and cartoon t-shirts. So how can you help us and also buy cool t-shirts? Well, we want you to go to tinyurl.com/STS80stees. That's right. That's tinyurl.com/STS80STEES. Go there. Buy some t-shirts. We get a kickback. They don't cost you no different. Now to the show.
Have you listened to episode 19? It's with my old buddy Maria Starr. It's available in the archives on stspod.club. Here's a clip. Actually bring a cake to the ring. Your face is gonna get smashed in it. So always remember that, okay?
Yeah, I was, but it kind of just backfired on me because I figured Derek's face was going into this cake, not my face. You know, it was his birthday, so technically he should have gotten the cake in the face.
There you
but
go,
I definitely learned my lesson there with the cake in the face. But you're right. I think the biggest shock was the children and the way that they talk. I can handle adults talking to me crazy, but when a child starts cussing me out, the mama in me really comes out. And I'm like, I am for real about to bend you over my knee and spank your butt.
I know. I see so many kids like the 10-year-olds or this, even younger. They will be flipping, the hill managers, actually flipping them off and everything. It's just, it's funny, but then it's kind of sad. At first it's funny, but then, like you said, the parent comes out of you and you go, oh God, what's going on there? You talk about Derek's last match now. What was the atmosphere? I haven't talked to Derek yet. We're planning on bringing him on in the next couple of weeks to talk about it. But since you were there, and Derek was, the number one wrestler in this area when I was on the website.
4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Let's start the party.
Old buddy Gene Jackson from the green room. Come on, Gene. I know you've been eating cookies and milk, and we have that special stuff underneath the couch there. But come on over from the green room and join us tonight. Welcome to Shootin The Shiznit for, I think this is your third time.
I believe so. That seems right, if you don't count all the old ones back in the Wrestling Riot days.
That's a sad thing. I think I've only found like one or two that we did back in the day. And I'm going to blame that on you, so I
probably. Most folks do.
Yeah, there we go. Hey, I was looking at Facebook, and we were going to bring you on and talk about Wrestlecade, which I'm going to still do that, but I thought it was really cool. I see some pictures, and only got to see a snippet of video, and the video I saw was nothing that had you really involved. You were just standing there while Hollywood Jimmy was doing his usual bullshit, but I didn't get to see you. How'd you like that? I just had to slide that in, okay?
I see.
Well, if you've seen one performance of Hollywood Jimmy, you've seen them all. But what I was wanting to know was, you wrestled Carlito this weekend, right?
I did. Kind of came out of nowhere. I've only wrestled twice this year in 2017, and the other match was back in April, where me and Neil Taylor tagged up against Jerry Lawler and Derek King, and then the other match was this past Friday night when Izzy Rotten and myself tagged up against Carlito and Curly Moe there from the OWO. So I guess it's not bad, huh? It's kind of like the indie Brock Lesnar. I just show up twice a year and have big matches against big names.
That's what I would do. I would do it 4 times a year if I was you, and just tell them that you're not going to work unless it's a big name. You know, I'd be real pissy about it. You know, not charge them a lot, but just tell them you need to dress the room by yourself and you're only working big names. But because you know we actually had you on here after you worked jury to talk about that. That was one of the episodes. But I seen that picture of you and Carlito doing the test of strength spot, and I mean I was laughing because I know what the spot is. It's such a southern spot too, and it's something that we, you know, it's not the southern spot, but it is one of those that and I wish I could have got to see the match, but it is the spot that, you know, you test the strength and you go right, you go left. If you've ever worked in the South, you've always done that spot. So tell us about working Carlito. How'd that come out?
I talked to Dirty, the promoter of OWO, back early December, late November, I guess it was, and he told me he was bringing Carlito in, and he asked me did I want to work the show, and I said yeah, I'll come do my usual tag with Neil thing, and you know there was no even mention then of working Carlito or who I'd be working. And then he come back and told me, he said, well, Neil's actually booking a show in Ripley, so he won't be there that night. I said, oh, okay, well, I'll show up and do whatever. And I was actually in the hotel at Wrestlecade, when he texted me and said, hey, he said, what would you think about tagging with somebody and working Carlito? And I'm like, well, yeah, obviously. I mean, no, I'm not working Carlito. I want to work some local guy. So yeah, I was like, sure, that'd be awesome. So, ironically, we go out that night, and, you know, we'll talk more about Wrestlecade, but I just thought it was kind of ironic. We were walking downtown after the show that night, and we passed Carlito and the Colognes from SmackDown. They had came over from Starrcade to Winston-Salem, which was only like an hour away or less.
Right.
And had came out to hang out with Carlito, so we had passed him on the street and said hello or whatever, and then a week later I was wrestling him in Fulton, so it was kind of
should have been a huge mark to him when you crossed him. You should say, oh my God, you're Carlito, and, you know, like spit in his face or something. And then
yeah, well, at that point I knew I was wrestling next week, so I'm like, yeah, he might remember that next week, but so I ended up, you know, tagging with Izzy Rotten, and what's crazy is all the years that me and Izzy Rotten have known each other and been around each other, that was the first time we have ever tagged. A little bit of useless trivia there, and I jokingly, or so he thought, told him in the dressing room, like, well, you get to be Neil Taylor tonight because Neil's in Ripley, so you'll be taking all the bumps and all the bullshit. And
he thought she was
and I won't. Yeah, and he thought I was joking until after it was over. And so I don't know if you saw the message he tagged Neil in on Facebook, but he's like, yeah, I got to tag with Gene Jackson tonight. Thanks a lot, Neil Taylor. You can have him back or something to that effect.
And just for everybody that's not listening, that's actually from the, I guess the Mid-South area and Mississippi area, Izzy Rotten has been a friend of mine forever. What was his other character? Oh, God, I can't remember.
Oh, God, he's like the Brutus Beefcake of Mississippi. He's had like 20 of them. He was Izzy Rotten and Bubba Styles and Special Ed.
Yeah, Special Ed. Now, Special Ed was hilarious. And that was before Nick did it, wasn't it?
It was. And Leslie Jones and Izzy will swear to this day, because Leslie of IWF fame had sent in some tapes to Ohio Valley, where Nick Densmore was working at the time, and some of those tapes had Special Ed on them, and they swear that the whole concept of Eugene came from Special Ed. Which
it is possible, because, I mean, Nick was, well known around the office there, too. He helped there in the office. I guess the only person that would know that would either be Nick or maybe, Jim Cornette or somebody that was in the office. But yeah, Nick helped out, so it is possible. It really is, and it's one of those things where it's hilarious that Nick got over so well. And I thought Izzy was hilarious doing it. And,
he was great at that gimmick.
And especially, everything's so fucking PC now that, they would probably get in trouble for doing something like that, even though, I don't know, we get away with a lot more in the South than you, when it comes to PC.
One more quick thing about that, real quick. Something they started doing a couple of years after the IWF thing that I thought was kind of fun is, he would go in and out, he would do Special Ed, then he would do Izzy Rotten, but they had this way of, he would be on a show like over there on Skyline in Tupelo,
right?
And he would be Izzy Rotten and be a heel for a few months, and then somebody would just kill him with like just a wicked chair shot. Like he would just put his head out there and just take a god awful chair shot, and he'd go back to being special ed for a few months, and then they would crack him again, and he would go back to Izzy Rotten. So at least it wasn't just arbitrary. They at least had some kind of reasoning for switching in and out, which I thought was kind of fun.
And he's been a fixture of that. I mean, you and him and Neil and some of those guys have been, you know, like you said, you don't wrestle as much or evolved as much as you used to be, but there's always a group of guys that I thought were talented. But, you know, I shit on the rest of everybody that wrestled in Mississippi, but there was a group of you guys that understood it.
Yeah.
And if you weren't a good wrestler, you knew it. There's a difference between guys that work and think they're superstars and that are excellent wrestlers, and between guys that, like myself, that worked for 18 months as a wrestler and knew I suck. So, but there's a difference. There really is. There's a difference between getting it. A lot of people in Mississippi just really never got no psychology, no anything. And I seen something with the Carlito match. I want you to go through the Carlito match, and I know this might take up some time for our Wrestlecade, but what was I going to ask you about the Carlito? What actually did you guys do? I mean, what was the psychology of it? What was the whole storyline with it, and what did you do with Carlito?
Well, so the whole deal was Izzy Rotten had a single match with Curly Moe in like the second match, and at the end, me and Blaylock hit the ring and we triple teamed Curly until Carlito ran out and made the save, and we powdered out. And so we're supposed to do a mic spiel here of, you know, how dare you come out here, and then, you know, the typical shit, you know. But the problem was when we got ready to do that, the cordless mics there's 3 of them. None of them are working. So here we are standing at ringside, dick in hand. We can't talk. So they go, we got to go over there to the other side of the building where there's a corded mic. So we go over there, and Jimmy grabs the mic, and first of all, and you know, does his deal. And he hands the mic to me. And I said, okay, well, Jimmy said his thing. And so now, since it's 2017 and we're having to talk on a freaking corded microphone, we're now just arbitrarily going to go over there so that you can come over here and say what you got to say. And then for some reason, you guys will go over there, and then we'll come back over here. And that kind of owned everybody. Like D-Rock from Wrestling News Center thought that was the highlight of the night.
Oh, that's hilarious.
And so as we walked away and Carlito got on the microphone, the last thing Jimmy had said before we walked away, like, you owe us an apology for sticking your nose in our business. You owe us an apology. You need to say you're sorry. Say you're sorry. And we walk away. And as we walk away, they got the cordless mic working, but Carlito was on the other one. So Carlito gets on the mic and he's like, well, you know, you're right. I'm sorry. I'm sorry you guys don't know what a treadmill is. And I got a good pop. And he's like, I'm sorry you guys have never been to a gym before. And I got a good pop. And then it was like, you know, if you guys want to fight, how about you know, we even the odds and we do 2-on-2. So by that time, my mic's working. And so I said, well, first of all, we met in the gym. You know, they called me and Izzy Rotten the hard bodies, and that was just an ad-lib thing. So the rest of the night, Al Hall, the ring announcer, made sure he always announced us as the hard bodies each time we came and went. But anyway, but I popped Carlito with the corded mic thing, and then at the end, I said, and you know, I know that hair's a work. That's not real. I know you're wearing a wig. I'm going to tell everybody online tomorrow. And he kind of cracked up at that too. So then we come back out for the match. But, well, I'm getting ahead of things. So we go back in the dressing room, and as we come through, Dirty said, well, we're going to make y'all semi-main, and parental advisory is going to be the main. And I'm like, all right, whatever. And we all go back there and sit down. And so Gary goes, well, what are you going to do? I go, I don't know. What do y'all want to do? Well, I don't know. And we kind of dicked around there for a few minutes. Next thing we know, my music's playing. I said, are we up now? And Dirty's like, come on, y'all are up. And we have not called anything. Not one, I mean, not even a finish. I mean, we've got jack shit. So the music's playing. It's about halfway through my song, and Carlito comes there, and he's like, okay, and he calls the finish. And so we go out to the ring with a finish, and that is it, dude. I mean, we had absolutely nothing. So start out with Izzy and Curly, and they, you know, do just a couple of basic things, and Carlito gets tagged in, Izzy gets tagged in, and side headlock, he shoots him off. They have a, you know, shoulder tackle, nobody goes down. Do that a couple of times. Finally, he tells Gary to, you know, hit the ropes and try to hit him with the shoulder tagger and take him down. He hit Gary with a big kick, and or Izzy, whatever. Izzy rolls out and comes back in. He tags me in. So I come in. We go to do the test of strength spot. I go up for the test of strength. He pokes me in the eyes. So we sell that real big. And then we come back up. We go to do it again. I go to poke his eyes. He does the Three Stooges, blocks it, pokes me again. And then we go into a side headlock and shoot him off, and then give him a shoulder tackle. He goes down. Me and Gary shoot him in, go for a double clothesline. He ducks it and tags in Curtis, and then me and Gary get heat on Curtis for a while until the hot tag to Carlito, and body slammed Gary at one point. Was going to body slam me, but I rolled out of the ring.
You said, I'm going to take that shit.
Hell no, I got my ribs broke last time I got body slammed. I had to work at 7 o'clock Saturday morning, so I powdered on that and let Gary take the slam. And so he spit the apple in Gary's face, and then Curly Moe's finish is a stunner, believe it or not.
Wow. Yeah.
So Gary gets the apple in the face, gets a stunner, 1, 2, 3. But as the 1, 2, 3 is happening, I jump up on the apron to try to stop it. Carlito spits the apple in my face. I fall off the apron, selling the apple, and then after the match, Curtis throws Jimmy in the ring, and Carlito spits the apple in Jimmy's face. So we all took the apple spot from Carlito, and that got a big pop from everybody. And of course, Gary's like, where the hell are you? You were supposed to get slammed. And, the funniest thing about the apple, though, like I said, the only thing he called before we walked out is the finish. Like, okay, I'll get the apple, I'll spit it in your face, and then, he can hit the stunner, and then 1, 2, 3.
Right.
So we get to the ring, and me and Jimmy and Izzy are in the ring, and Carlito's music plays, and him and Curtis come out. They get in the ring. They're standing across from us. And Jimmy's like, oh, you done messed up now. You done messed up now. Well, Jimmy was just talking shit, and Carlito's like, oh, I messed up. I go, yeah, where the fuck's your apple? Of course, this ain't on the mic or anything, and he goes, shit. He has to get out of the ring, go all the way to the dressing room. But then when he comes back out bouncing the apple, the people pop for it. So it kind of worked. It's good it worked out that way. But he legit, forgot it. Like, if I hadn't said anything, he'd have went to get it and been like, oh, fuck.
Oh, that's hilarious. Yeah, because,
the
dreaded apple spit is just like the ninja miss. People don't understand that. It works the same way. That's awesome, man. I seen that, and I pop for it because I know you go out and have fun, and that's what it's about. And they ask you to come in only for the big stars. Now, that should be your new gimmick right there, only for the big stars. So,
I'm digging it, man. It took me since '97 to finally get to the point now where I only show up and work big names. So that's what it's all about, right?
I got a question, though. See if this before we go to commercial, and we'll talk 15, 20 minutes about Wrestlecade, but there looked like there was 50 people there. Did he do any kind of advertising, or was I just seeing one side of the ring?
Well, he did advertise, and it was in an auction building out in Dorsey. But the problem was when he scheduled it, he didn't realize that everybody's freaking Christmas parade that night. Tupelo had Christmas parade. Fulton had Christmas parade. So most people were at the Christmas parade. Hell, there was wrestlers that didn't show up. I mean, he postponed the show to 8:30 because half the wrestlers weren't there because of the freaking Christmas parade. So I think that's kind of what did him in. So, yeah, I didn't ask, but I'm pretty sure he took a hit on that one. So.
Yeah, when I seen that, the crowd, I was like, please tell me I'm only seeing, maybe one side or something. And I was like, well, it's a normal size house for Hollywood Jimmy to draw.
Oh, you're up on Hollywood Jimmy.
If they would have had your name on the poster, damn it, it would have been a lot.
Well, see, here's the thing. They just put Carlito's picture on the poster. They didn't put Carlito versus Gene Jackson. If they'd have done that,
well, that's just
it would have been packed out. Or, God forbid, if they could afford Memphis Monroe. But, they don't have that kind of money to get him out of retirement. So.
That's what I was fixing to say. That son of a bitch is expensive. So.
Oh, yeah.
Hey, we're going to go to a quick commercial. We're going to be back with Gene Jackson. Actually, we're going to talk about Wrestlecade. So we'll be back in just a few seconds. We have a bunch of new sponsors, but part of an affiliate program, and I want to direct you to tinyurl.com/STS TV Store. That's right, tinyurl.com/STS TV STORE. Hit that.
you get that link, you go to this store, that's TV Store, and we get a kickback. Some cool wrestling stuff, kind of over-the-top stuff. You can get boots, you can get a Ric Flair robe, you can get a classic Stone Cold shirt. There's all kinds of fun stuff. Not only that, they have ugly sweaters, they have Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Bruce Lee, kind of, if you wanted some odd stuff, I love this website. Not only are they helping us, I like the website, so that helps out a lot. Guys, go to that link. If you buy anything, we get a kickback, and it actually helps the podcast. So go to, that's tinyurl / STS TV Store. Thank you. And now back to the show. All right, we're back. I always say when I go to commercial break, for some fucking reason, I say a few seconds. It's actually usually about 1.5 minutes to 2 minutes, so I hope people they don't actually know what a few seconds and everything is, It's like I'm lying to everybody, but, and don't run to the bathroom on my commercial breaks, they're important. Let's talk about Wrestlecade. I seen you were going, and I actually put out on Twitter, like right before I saw you were there, that I wanted to talk to someone that went around and talked to everybody. And as soon as I saw it was you, I was like, we'll get Gene back on here because you guys do the whole 9 yards when it comes to cons. You and the wife went again, right?
Oh yeah, we go. This was our third one that we've gone to. Previously we used to go to the Greg Price Fan Fest in Charlotte, but yeah, Wrestlecade has kind of become our yearly thing now at Thanksgiving. So.
And what kind of trip are you talking about from your house to Wrestlecade? What kind of?
About 9 hours. We break it up into halves. We learned that the first year we went, we made the whole trip over on Thanksgiving. Wasn't terrible. It was long, but it wasn't that bad. The bad part was on Sunday morning we got up to come back, and that 9-hour trip turned into like a 16-hour trip because everybody and their mother's coming back from Thanksgiving.
Right.
So we've learned to break it up. We go to Dandridge, Tennessee, which is almost exactly halfway, right above Gatlinburg, and we spend the night there, and then we go the rest of the way, and then coming back, we do the same thing, and that's made it much more tolerable. It sucks paying an extra 2 hotels, but it's so worth not being stuck in the car that long.
Oh, I just can't imagine. I went to, I'm bad after, I travel from St. Louis, Missouri now to Jonesboro sometimes, and that's almost 4 hours, and it drives me crazy. And I do it in one day and then come back that same day, so it sucks to be in the car that long. Tell us about, because I seen this, but everyone doesn't see what everyone doesn't read, and we got people from all over, everyone can't read in the South, so we got to actually talk to, we got listeners in the UK and stuff like that. But when you decide, hey, I'm going to go to Wrestlecade, talk to me about pricing. Well, I know it's per person, so tell me what it costs and what do you get for that.
Well, it's not compared to others. It's really not that bad. We buy 2 VIP table tickets, which basically at the actual show, you're at a table. In the second row, exactly what it sounds like, 2 table tickets, but you're at a table. And, but the thing about that is it gets you into everything. They have a show on Friday night. It gets you into that. They have the Fan Fest on Saturday morning. It gets you into that. And they have the Super Show, they call it, on Saturday night. And you get the second row seats to that. And then on Sunday, it used to just be they would have one event on Sunday. This year, they had the George South Church service, which obviously we didn't go to. Well, we didn't go to any, spoiler alert, we didn't go to anything on Sunday, but they did have a Jim Cornette Smoky Mountain reunion Q&A, which I would have loved to have gone to, but if we'd have got on the road any later than we did, we would have hit the turmoil that Cornette griped about on his podcast this week. And then there was a Queens of Combat show, and that same ticket gets you into that. And then there's another AML show that afternoon that gets you into that too. And I think we paid $80 a piece for those tickets. So $160 getting you into 5 shows. Not too bad. When you go looking at what WrestleCon tickets and shit like that cost, and God forbid the the WWE access and all that kind of stuff. I mean, that's dirt cheap for that much stuff. So
I haven't looked at those prices, but I've been to 2 Wizard World. They're just like a pop culture con. And if you get an autograph from someone there, you have to pay. I think $50 to $75 a ticket. And then if you get an autograph from someone, you're talking $25. If you get a photograph, another $25. So if you get a autograph for someone, it's about $120 a piece. I went to 2 and only ended up with 1 autograph, Lou Ferrigno, but that was something special I wanted to do. But it's just I thought it was outrageous because I paid that much money to get in Wizard World, and I was like, man, I'm gonna get this autograph, I'm gonna do this, and after I got in the first one I went to, I said, fuck this, I'm not paying. Some of the guys were like, I can't remember. I think Shatner and somebody else was. Well, he wasn't there, but when you looked at the schedule, you get a picture with him and blah blah blah, and it's like $125 or something like that. So these special pictures you see with people with all these pop icons, especially Doctor Who wrestlers and people that's at Wizard World, you're talking $120 for a VIP, and that's crazy. So so you got an $80 ticket, which is like you said, that's. Of the shows that you just said that you went to or could go to, fucking awesome. I mean, $80 to go to ROH now. So it's been that for a while, but it really is. But so here's the deal that I see. I see you guys in the big con, like I've been to a couple comic book ones like that. Also, when you go up to the guy, can you get up? Because if you go up to a person like an artist, sometimes they will take a picture with you. It's just according to how big their line is. Now, if they sign a bunch of stuff, when it comes to comic books, they will charge per item that they sign.
Oh, yeah.
But
that's where it gets expensive. Everybody you see us take a picture with, we paid for the picture. If we got them to sign, most everybody offers like a combo where it's like $20 for an autograph and $10 for a picture, where it averages out to be about $25 to $30 for both. Now the bigger names, I think Foley, it was like $75 to take a picture and get an autograph, which we didn't do. Some of the bigger name people, but I would say on average it's roughly $20 to $30 per person. Mil Mascaras, it was like $50 to take a picture with him, and I almost didn't, but I'm like, fuck it. You never see Mil Mascaras at anything. And so we went ahead and did it, but it would have been $75 just to get him to sign a picture. So it would have been $75 total to take a picture with him and then get him to sign a picture. And he looked like a wax statue. You can look at the picture. We could have been posing next to a damn wax statue. I mean, he didn't hardly move. But ironically, we had been in the elevator with him the night before without his mask. Tell me about
that story. Yeah, I want to hear this story. This is hilarious.
So Friday night, we go down to the Friday night show, but I didn't give a shit about watching that show because it was 4 hours long the year before, and it really wasn't anybody we knew who they were. So we went down, but during that show, there's people with their tables selling stuff. So I was like, well, let's go down and check out the gimmicks tonight, see if there's anything we want to buy, and then tomorrow we can just go around and take pictures with people, and we ain't really got to fight the lines at the tables. So we went down and bought a few pictures and a couple of action figures, shit like that, and then we took a picture with Gilbert and New Jack, and so then most people were in the wrestling thing. So we start heading back to the hotel, and we go to get on the elevator. And as the elevator opens, this little Hispanic guy steps out, and he's got a yellow polo shirt and a tracksuit on. And he says, lobby. Is this lobby? I'm like, no, we're going to the lobby if you want to get back in. So he gets back in, and he's like, lobby. So I hit the button for the lobby. And the guy looks like I would say a cross, like a love child between Paul Jones and Paul Ellering, if they were, both Mexican. And so he doesn't really say anything. If
they were Mexican, and it was,
yeah. But the funny thing about all this, me and Rosie have this running rib I pull on her. Like, we've gone to a bunch of Chikara shows. So me and her would sit in the car in the parking lot waiting for the show to start. And every person that walked, because everybody on the car show just about wears a damn mask.
Right.
And Mike Quackenbush is real big on kayfabe. So everybody that would walk by, they're like, well, there's, Hollow Wicked. Oh, that guy right there's Ultra Manus, and it wouldn't even look anything, it wouldn't be the same build. So jokingly, as that guy stepped out of the elevator and we started to go the way, I go, yeah, that's Mil Mascaras. And Rosie laughed, and she's like, yeah, right, whatever, pulling your shit. And we just laughed it off. Next morning, I'm looking at my phone, and the vendor who brought him in goes, hey, Mil's here and ready to go. I go, holy shit. She goes, what? And I go, look at this guy, what Mil Mascaras is wearing. And she goes, fuck, there's a guy from the elevator. I go, yeah. I said, it was really him this time. She goes, holy crap, that's funny. And, of course, everybody I told that, like, if I'd have took a picture of him, people would have shit, because everybody messaged like, holy shit, nobody sees him without a mask, which that's why I thought it was crazy that he was walking around out there with no mask, but I guess he just assumed nobody would put that together, but he was wearing the same. So he must be getting better at kayfabe back in the day than he is now, because that was pretty easy to spot. It was a pretty gaudy looking tracksuit he had on. But anyway, that was. We always have at least one unusual experience in an elevator with somebody, so that was this year's.
That's crazy. I mean, the idea that, if you could, that doesn't exist. And he probably won't until he dies. And whether they, show the, I've seen some really weird stuff come out of Mexico, so they could actually show the casket with him with the mask on. I mean, that is possible.
I wouldn't doubt that at all.
And, there's probably not enough money for him to take off his mask. So that's really, and I wondered that. I had Bill After on here, and I should have asked him about that, because some of the guys that you talk to, old school guys, they'll tell you some of the guys walked through the dressing room and never took off the mask. And you had guys like Ken Wayne and Eddie Davis who worked the Southern. Everyone knew who the hell they were, and so they weren't kayfabing or anything. But and I don't know if they actually came to the towns, with their masks on or not. We used to do something weird when we worked in Gibson, is like some of the baby faces and heels would ride together because we were riding with their wives, and we would stop before we actually got to the building and switch. Cars, so that all heels were in one car and all babies. And we had the heels show up first, and then we give them like 10 minutes and all the babies to show. And it sounds so old school, but I wonder if guys still do stuff like that, or we just all show up together. I meant to tell this story, and I can't remember what the guess was, but my dad, it was when I was doing it, Who's Right, guys. I was talking about when did we find out. They're not big, huge fans, but they want to know when we found out wrestling was a work. What did we think? And my dad was on a ferry boat from Dyersburg to Crothersville, Missouri, and that's how you got to wrestling, was on a ferry. I mean, back from Dyersburg to Missouri, you got on a ferry boat, and that's the way you got across. And Tojo and somebody that Tojo was feuding with were on the ferry boat together. And they were, chumming around and everything, and that killed him. From that point on, he said, fuck wrestling, it's fake. And that killed him about wrestling. And when I became a fan, he was like, that's fake. So, from that point on, he wouldn't take it, except he watched one match with me, a Mid-South match, Flair against DiBiase, where all the blood and everything, which is a fantastic match, but that was probably the only thing my dad ever watched. Okay, so we ain't got a lot of time, but I want to get into the actual convention and you meeting anybody. Now, let's start, because I always forget to ask you this until the very end. I'm gonna ask you this question first. Was there any assholes in the group? No,
there really wasn't, man. I'm still holding my record. Like, New Jack wasn't very talkative, but that's best case scenario, right? Like, you can only hope that he's not going to say a hell of a lot when you meet him. But
right.
I guess the most shocking thing for me and Rosie both is we were going around because, man, the crowd was like just terrible this year. Like, it was just gridlocked through half of it. But we get over there, and Lawler's got a huge line, which we're, I'm not trying to get in line for Lawler. We've met Foley a couple times, so no big deal about Foley, but he's got a huge line. And we go there at Christian, there's two guys standing at his table. And I expected his line to be like the biggest. So we walk over, and he's like, hey, what's up, guys? Like, hey, so I getting a picture with you? He's like, yeah, absolutely. And where y'all from? Well, we're from Coleman. Oh, how long did it take you to get here? Well, about 9 hours. Oh, really? Well, how long you been watching? Dude, like, Christian was like talking our ear off. Like, we couldn't like walk away. He was like just, carrying on and on and on, but which was cool. But I was just shocked that not as many people were going to see Christian as even Jake the Snake or Sgt Slaughter and Jake the Snake was really cool. We went and got a picture with him, and so he goes and puts his arms around us, and then when they go to take the picture, he goes, "Oh, he just grabbed my ass," and that's why it looks like we're all laughing so big as we were. And then he goes, "Oh, get your finger out of there," you know, like just goofy as hell, but he was hilarious.
Should have looked at him real serious and said, "Dude, I don't know you that well." But yeah, I mean, that's really awesome that you, and I had the one, like I said, the one place Lou Ferrigno was. He wasn't an asshole, but he wasn't friendly either. There's a difference between being. He was doing a job, and a lot of them feel that way. And I listened to Cody talk about or an interview with, and I can actually call him Cody Rhodes and not get in trouble. Cody talked about that was one of the most uncomfortable things for him when he went to start doing independence, was working the gimmicks table. Not that he didn't want to talk to people. It was just he wasn't used to it, and people would come up and want to talk, and he said he felt uncomfortable actually charging people. So and that was okay. I got a list of people I had to put on here, and I always have to ask weird questions. I'm a fucking weirdo, Gene, so, I have to know things. So there's like 6 people here I've seen you took pictures with, and 5 of them, I got a few questions about them. But let's start with Medusa first, okay? I see a lot. It looks like a lot of plastic surgery. Did it look bad in person?
Well, Rosie's like, damn, she looks rough, and she did. But when you consider her age, she doesn't look bad for her age. Super sweet lady. There was a special needs guy in front of us who had brought her some like odd presents and everything. She was really cool about that, and she was super nice to me. But yeah, I mean, she's definitely had some plastic surgery. But like I said, for her age, she's held up pretty well. But really nice. Really, it seemed to genuinely enjoy being there.
First, special needs person brought some weird gifts. All I could think about, and I don't know why, a box of boogers. And I really don't know why they come to me.
It was like it's like he cut a picture of her out of a wrestling magazine and had glued it to Christmas wrap paper and then stuck it in a frame.
Hey, more power to him.
Yeah, and he was super proud of it. And you could tell she just like genuinely didn't have the words. She's like, "Did you want me to sign this for you?" And he's like, "No, I want you to have it." And she's like, "Oh," he's like, "Put it in your house." And, she's like, "Oh, I will. And,
that's awesome.
Bless her heart,
Yeah, that is. I mean, that's the kind you have to deal with that. Okay. So Sgt Slaughter, he was in Gimmick, which I thought was really cool. Did he seem to be a nice guy?
He did. We go up there and had him sign our Sgt Slaughter figure, and I asked what our names were, and when Rosie said her name, he said, "Oh, my grandmother's name was Rose," and told a couple of stories about her, and just, he was really nice and seemed like he was happy to be there, wasn't cranky at all. And I always appreciate when they wear their gimmicks. You're going to go up there and charge $30, $40 for somebody to take a picture with you. You don't need to look like somebody's dad, like Dean Malenko. He just look like I'm taking a picture with just some dude, which I don't expect him to be wearing his vest and his trunks or nothing, but.
Yeah, you do, damn it. Money for
but,
that.
I mean, damn, some of them. I like Honky Tonk Man. He's over there wearing just a fucking tracksuit and a big white streak in his hair. He looks like Broken Honky or something.
Well, Honky Tonk Man, he comes from the Jim Cornette dressing school. So anyone, I mean, and I haven't wore a pair of jeans in almost 2 years. So Jim Cornette taught me how to dress too. All right, so we got 3 people left on the list I want to ask about, and here's the main question I want to know about these 3 people. Okay?
All right.
Ready?
Go for it.
Did these 3 people smell good? All right. So
this will be more of a question for Rosie Jackson, but go ahead.
So no. Number 1, Hornswoggle. Did he smell good?
He was so far down there, I didn't notice. I didn't really pick up a scent on him. I didn't bend down for the picture. I wanted to be the size disparity there for picture's sake.
And podcast king Bruce Pritchard was there. So did Bruce Pritchard smell good? We can even tag him and tweet him about this. So you got to say whether Bruce smelled good or not.
Yeah, he did. I mean, and like I say, Rosie commented on it, and like I said, she's more of a connoisseur of that sort of thing, because I have bad allergies, so colognes and things like that bother me, and so she's usually more impressed by that than I am. But super nice, super cool to meet.
We'll have to get her on just to talk about when she goes next time goes to a con, who smelled good.
Yeah, you can just do a whole episode of smells of Comic Con. Because she was the one commented on Cody last year, but anyway.
Okay, he smelled good, didn't he?
Oh, yeah, she was super impressed.
I knew that motherfucker smelled good. He looks too... Wait. I got hot there for a minute. You know?
Holy shit. All right, wait a minute. Let's back on track here.
So the last person, let me tell you, damn, she looked good in your picture. She always looks good. And have no idea how she can wrestle in Japan now for Stardom. But Rebel, did Rebel smell good?
Smelled like hot garbage. It was terrible. No, I'm just kidding.
Oh, shit.
I'm just kidding. No, she smelled great, yeah. I didn't know who she was, but I was just like, hey, look at this hot chick over there. I'm going to take a picture with her. I can't take a picture with a bunch of dudes.
Yeah.
I don't watch TNA, so I didn't know who she was. I told my wife, I was like, I got to balance these out. I got to take some pictures with some chicks because, can't do all dudes.
Because Brian's going to ask me how they smell.
Exactly. Brian's going to get curious.
Was Rebel a sweetie? You said you got to look up that TNA where she really fucked up a move. It's I don't even want to talk about it. It's horrible. And then she hugged me before and after the picture, and thanked me for wanting to take a picture with her, and she was super nice. So. I heard, now this is just rumor that she actually liked big guys. So that Rosie, watch her.
Shit. See, I got to bring my wife with me, and maybe Rosie will stay home next year. We'll see.
Hey, man, I want to thank you for coming on. I think this is, like we said, this is your third appearance on Shootin The Shiznit, and I appreciate it. Hey, guys, join us next. This coming Thursday, we have a clusterfuck coming. At least we got 3 or 4 people coming on and just talking about 2017. And next Tuesday, we got Bob McGee coming in talking about Toys for Tots. Guys, same bat time, same bat channel. Best little wrestling podcast in the business. Be there. Love my mama. All right. Thank you, man.
That is very Corey McElhenney when you say the best podcast. I feel like he's alive again when I hear you say that.
I'll probably leave that on there.